what I'm going to do, I haven't seen any commentary for this movie yet. It came out a couple of weeks ago. I watched about two or three times. I enjoyed this movie. Way better than Ghostbusters, I think. But it's. I saw that Tomb Raider came out with what's her face. I keep mispronouncing her name. She was in Jason Bourne, whatever her name is. The actress that's in. I want to say Gavankar, but that's somebody else. Who is it? What's her name? Why am I forgetting? I'm forgetting the names of video games and I'm forgetting the names of people. Um, well, whoever that new actress is that's doing Lara Croft, I didn't see the movie for that. So anyway, forget that. We're looking at Annihilation starring Natalia. Yes, that's right, Natalia. I never say Natalie. I always say Natalia. Natalia Portman, and we got a whole cast of people. The guy who played Poe Dameron, of course, uh, Oscar Isaacs, and some other people. And that's about it. And obviously, what I'm going to do, since this is an audio commentary, we're going to switch over here so you can look at this beautiful DVD art because I'm too cheap a bastard to buy a Blu-ray and a Blu-ray player and get the Blu-ray edition. So I'm going to press the play button in three, two, one. And I'm just going to ramble on for about 2 hours. Unauthorized reproduction, yeah, this is why this is the unauthorized reproduction screen, and restricted R. There's some sexual themes, of course. Um, my first memories, of course, Natalie Portman, of course, are I think that one movie with where she was 11 or 12. I forget the name of the movie, and I don't know how that actor's doing. I'm forgetting names of people, places, and things all the time. I can't even remember the name of the video game with the cars play soccer. That's how stupid I am right now. Oh, I'm trying so hard to remember who's playing Lara Croft. It's Jennifer. I want to say Jennifer Gardner, but I know that's not her name. Jesus, I hate that. I hate when I can't remember stuff. Skydance Studios. I keep thinking of Star Trek right now. It's always every time I see that logo with the sun in the background, I always think of Star Trek. So here we have Natalie sitting in white, sitting in this room. Um, Males don't really play a real huge presence, except with this guy here, who's in a radiation suit, and Oscar Isaacs, who plays Natalie's husband, who has been missing. But we kind of know why he's been missing. We know what's sort of what's going on here. A meteor of some type hits the Earth and changes the DNA of everything around it within like let's say a city's radius. So if you think of East LA or you think of downtown LA, hit by a meteor and everything around downtown LA changes because of it. That this is what it is. Like it's now a metamorphosis. I kind of think of the movie The Thing, and I don't mean the 2012 version of The Thing. I mean the 1982. Real men watched the 1982 version with John Carpenter. Okay, John Carpenter's The Thing is the shit. That's it. That's my favorite horror movie. Uh, but yeah, with Natalia, I remember her from the prequels. And I thought she was very beautiful in all those weird costumes. I'm sure girls at that age, when they were 9 or 10, when they watched The Phantom Menace, they just wanted to have a Barbie doll that had 25 outfits that they could put Natalie in. Like how many Queen's outfits they can put in. I mean, that's when I was young. Girls would play with paper dolls and cut out dresses and put dresses on the dolls so they can be the Queen of Naboo. Oh, what are we seeing? So the meteors hit the Earth, and we're seeing like this CGI of all this stuff. By the way, it would be helpful if you had the DVD version of this with me or the Blu-ray, and you can watch it with me. I like these black sort of screens with the white call sheets, like the title. It reminds me of 2001: A Space Odyssey. So here we're looking at cells splitting. I think this is Natalie being the teacher right now. She's being a professor, teaching her students about cells. 1 is 2, 2 is 4, 4 to 8, 8, 16, 32, 64. So um, it's basically how we evolve, how the animals evolve, the dinosaurs and primates and all that stuff, building blocks. But I think of The Thing and I think of this movie. Why? Not just because of the opposite. You had, see, I guess with Annihilation you have women, and in The Thing you had just men. But with the themes are kind of similar. In Annihilation, it's like beautiful poetry. You hear that, byum, 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 byum. You hear that theme, and it's like that's sort of like the talking of the alien creature species, as they try to become human, or they try to become trees, or they try to become animal, hybrid, crossbreeding, anything. So, I mean, you could fuck a kangaroo and have a human kangaroo baby. You can do that because Annihilation the movie would allow you to do that in this world. So it's a very strange, very weird, obscure kind of movie. And here's I think this is the same black guy from, what movie? Interstellar. I think it's the same guy. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think it's the same actor from Interstellar, the one who gets old, and the one that Matt Damon sets a trap and blows him up on that ice planet. I think it's the Miller planet, but I'm not sure. So these two had an affair, the two characters. So Oscar Isaacs is a military soldier who goes on a secret mission when the meteor strikes the lighthouse area, the lighthouse radius, the area around the lighthouse. So Oscar Isaacs and his men go and investigate, and only Oscar Isaacs comes back. But during the time that he's been away on missions, she's, riding his broomstick and not giving a shit. And here we have this Smallville house. This looks like the same house from Man of Steel, doesn't it? If it's not the same house from Man of Steel, I don't know what is. Empty stairs, empty. Looks like Resident Evil. And this is sort of backstory nonsense. When you take still photos, the actors take still photos for backstory purposes. I wonder how they always set that all up. I never know. So Natalia is depressed there. I saw her recently in Saturday Night. Remember that Saturday SNL skit where she's doing all the different characters? And she has that meme now where talk about the motherfucking prequels, bitch. I gotta tell you, she didn't look good in that the Queen of Naboo makeup now. I mean, she looked very cute and young back then because I think Natalie, let's see, right now she is 37 or 36 going on 37. No, she is 37. Her birthday just passed. Her birthday just passed a few days ago, didn't it? Okay, so she's 37 now. But when she was auditioning and starting out for Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, I do think that she was 13, 14. Let me think about that. I think she barely started high school when she was doing production, when she was on the set. She was about 16 years old. But I think in the novel Dark Plagueis, she was about 13, 14. She was supposed to be the youngest queen ever to be on the throne of Naboo. So that was the whole... But she's a little bit older. She was a little bit older in real life. Oh, here comes Oscar Isaacs. Here, I mean, she tells her lover, the black guy, she tells her lover, the other professor, that she's repainting the room. But she had sex with the guy in the room. But now she's welcoming back her husband. And Poe Dameron here, he's just without emotion right now. He's like, don't you love me? Don't you love me? Don't you want to be with me? So it's a lot of tension there. Yeah. One of the reasons I'm doing this commentary is because, oh yeah, here we go. This is the glass of water. Now when I watch DVDs of like Star Wars or Star Trek or The Bourne Identity or A Beautiful Mind or anything, I listen to audio commentary and I look at behind the scenes stuff, but now I pay attention to camera angles. When you watch mysteries, if you just look at the camera angles on all the suspects, all the actors, the more suspicious camera angles you see, you can figure out who the murderer is just based on the camera angles and the lighting. But that's not the point of what I'm saying is that they're about to hold hands in front of a glass, behind a glass of water, which is, that is the symbol. That's sort of the logo of the movie, I think. Kind of like when the guy gets shot in the back up the stairs in the French Connection. Natalie and Oscar holding hands behind the glass of water is the symbol of everything, because water is sort of the symbol of all kinds of life that evolve. So that was the whole point of purpose. Yeah, let's see. She's gonna play a musician, a real life musician in the next movie, and something else, and I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit tension. I mean, like Oscar comes back, right? But there's no feeling left in him. He's just at this point he's just like whatever. You know, I don't care, but he cares, but he doesn't care. So he's not the same person he was when. So this is the symbol of the movie right there. It's changing forms in water. You know the director, I know there's probably audio commentary on the Blu-ray track, but I bet you the director just accidentally saw that and said, "Oh my God, we have to put that in the movie." And that's sort of the thing you do in the creative process is that you are constantly changing your mind and putting things in, like George Lucas, you're always changing your mind and putting things in movies. I haven't seen Black Swan yet, and I haven't seen that one Western she did. I think she did V for Vendetta, right? And I like when she meets the other girls. This is not Ghostbusters 2016. It doesn't placate you, doesn't insult your intelligence. Unlike Ghostbusters 2016, The Last Jedi, and the latest episodes of Supergirl. So Oscar Isaacs is bleeding. He's sick. He's coughing up blood. I know what it's like to cough up blood, and I'm not deathly ill. So they're rushing him to the ambulance. On the ambulance, they're 911. They're rushing him, and here we got the typical black cars, which you kind of roll up your eyes. Aren't black cars sort of a running gag? But how many times do you see real life black cars, like when you have motorcades? For the President of the United States. And so they pull him over. The guys in the black suits in the military, they open up the ambulance. They pull out Natalie Portman because they realized that Oscar Isaacs was sort of went AWOL. But I think he did. I think he technically went. He something happened to him with his men in that sort of secluded area, and he's changed. But now the government's kept an eye on him, and so they drugged Natalie Portman. Oscar Isaacs is still coughing up blood. I mean, the poor guy gets a bad deal. Okay, now we're in Area X. I like this 2001 Space Odyssey intro there. So she's now locked up. We get Dr. Ventress. I don't know if that's after Asajj Ventress. I'm willing to bet either the writer or the director is a fan of Star Wars, because Ventress is not a very popular name. But I guess if somebody wants to make a fan edit of Star Wars, The Clone Wars, and then, Natalie Portman will say Ventress, but it's like, oh my God, is that her voice? Yeah. You know which movie that's from. They put that in the Star Wars fan trailer just to shock people. That always happens that way. I forget these actors. I'm going to turn this over from there to see which actors we have here. Hold on. Damn if I can remember them. Natalie Portman. I think it's Jennifer Jason Leigh. I think. She's more of a veteran actress. Yeah, so she's sort of the senior member of the group. I mean, there's just some light similarities to Ghostbusters. I mean, there's a something strange, and it's in the neighborhood. Who can you call? But I like that she plays a broken woman. She's not self-serving. She's not overconfident. There's not too much feminism as far as the theme of it is evolved. Yes, the women lead the charge. Oscar Isaacs is just a passenger. Hold on, let me get some water. We're at the scene right now where Ventress is talking to Natalie Portman. Hold on, let me. Yeah. It's like illegal fireworks are going off. See, we're not even through June yet, and we've got illegal fireworks going off. I had to drink some water because my throat was going dry here. What will be the point? You're just going to be staring at a picture and not hearing my voice. So, Ventress is telling her that that basically, you know, her husband's very sick, but they don't give details. She wants to know more. She's not going to tell her. There's a lot of white used here. White's sort of like, to me, white, as I'm wearing the color white right now, it sort of it symbolizes life, but very neutral life. And I see a lot of white, even in the background where the doctors are all talking, all these scientists. They're in the research, like a makeshift research facility. It looks like it got built in a month, and they're overlooking this site. They're overlooking Area X because something is happening. Okay, and you get white, but you get a slight tinge of a rainbow. That's sort of the running theme. In The Thing, in John Carpenter's The Thing, the alien creatures were all ugly monsters that were just trying to. They were kind of doing the same thing. They were absorbing themselves into the DNA of humans and dogs, and they were becoming these very vulgar creatures. But it was meant to be a horror movie, you know, and it was about who do you trust? Who can I trust? Here in Annihilation, it's literally about the science of the metamorphosis or the metaphor of becoming anything you want, of just, you know, living your life vicariously through different things. So we get some video game footage of Oscar Isaac's team going into Area X. There's just an overall feeling of white and just a tinge of rainbow. And I think the tinge of rainbow is a metaphor for all the different colors of the rainbow, all the different colors of life that you can become. Plant, animal, germ, energy, human or not. This is just what it is. It's about accepting it, right? In The Thing, the alien creatures were just like, you know, they were just disgusting, scary. They just wanted to mesh with people. It was never about terraforming, but it was about just, you know, human reforming and just becoming these new alien species. They would absorb all those animals and become something else on Earth. So she's basically telling Natalie's basically telling Ventress that she's not going to leave her husband. She doesn't want to go home. Home is where her husband is. And right now, he's really fucked up. But I think Oscar Isaacs can only react to the things around. I like this beautiful shot of all the rainbow globulous gel effect. And there's a shot of Natalie Portman and Oscar Isaacs in a picture frame. They're sort of in a box. And Annihilation is about going beyond the box, going beyond the frame. There's not too many chick movies I'll watch. Um, I saw Mean Girls, and I've seen like maybe the first few minutes of Ghostbusters 2016. But this one, like I say, it's we got an airplane above somebody's airplane. Yeah, this is about reflection of life and things like that. The real energy starts when we got what's her name, Michelle Rodriguez, not Michelle Rodriguez, the girl that plays Jane the Virgin, and you got a couple of other actresses in there. I think the best audio commentary I ever heard was probably from John Carpenter's The Thing, but also The Goonies had all the casts talk about the movie, and I think the worst audio commentary, aside from mine, of course, would probably be the Val Kilmer's movie, and I can't remember which movie he did. It was where Val Kilmer played a soldier, and he was trying to rescue the president's daughter. He would say, "Where's the girl, Jerry? Where's the girl, Jerry?" So he wouldn't talk very much. Ever hear Val Kilmer sing, "Hello, Daddy"? Yeah, I hope Oscar Isaacs gets a bigger role in Episode 9, because he hasn't done shit for the first two movies. Like he did a revolt against Holdo, who, by the way, Admiral Holdo is the one that pisses me off the most. Forget Rose Tico, okay? But Admiral Holdo really just I just want to kill her. I mean, I didn't like that character. She's dead already, but ugh. So this whole scene is about, you know, I don't know. It's just their last. I think this was their last sexual or intimacy before he heads out, because then she's messing around with someone else, the professor we see at the beginning. So now she's right. We're going back to the present, and she is, you know, she's not sure what to do. Her husband's comatose. And we got Jane the Virgin. Oh, I like. She's turned into this crazy bitch. If she was in The Thing, she'd be like Wilford Brimley, you know? Because remember when Wilford Brimley started smashing up all the equipment, and then they had to lock him up in the tool shed. So I guess you could compare Natalie Portman to McCready, Kurt Russell's character, and Ventress to the old colonel, the one that was the leader and turned over to McCready, the one that gets killed near the end of the movie by Wilford Brimley. So we're introduced to the other two girls. We got a Latina, we got another white girl, and we got somebody of mixed. Doesn't matter. So here we have the Ghostbusters. They're gonna exterminate the ghosts. There's very few chick movies I'll get into. Okay, Mila Jovovich, Charlize Theron. This movie, maybe a movie about Disney princesses. You know, there's that Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet, where the sidekick meets all the Disney princesses. That's interesting. But there's very few movies with women in it that I'll actually enjoy. And I still feel the same way I do about the SJW Clarkson for Star Trek. And I will not let go of that. Okay? But I'm not against people who want to watch that. If you want to watch it, fantastic. I'm not going to watch it. And I can't take Jane the Virgin, the TV show, seriously. It's like, I think it got canceled, right? But it's like, and all it's just fake facade. I don't know. A lot of female stories are too I don't want to say patronizing. I'll say matronizing. They give you everything that you want. Everything is somehow convenient, and even if there's a conflict, somehow a magic wand a plot device will emerge and make everything better. These girls suffer in this the whole movie, all four of them. It's hard. I call them women more. I mean, I'm practically older than Natalia by about 3 years. Okay, and I don't think her acting was wooden in the prequels. I think my favorites. Here's the thing. Like I liked when Hayden Christensen cuts the pear for her in Attack of the Clones, but when they did the fireplace scene, that was the most awkward, stupidest scene I ever saw. It was just too creepy, too rapey, and it didn't look right. And I think they should have fixed it. Anyway, so the girls have their chit chat. Oscar's still in a coma. Oscar doesn't say or do much. He just reacts. But I did like that he revolted against Holdo in The Last Jedi. And I went to see The Last Jedi when it first came out. What a waste of money. I spent $20.25 on it because I wanted to see it in 4DX. The 4DX was probably, the first 5 minutes of The Last Jedi was probably the most rewarding. Because you're in that chair, right? And you're moving around and you're dodging, and it's all in 3D and 4D. With the smoke and the water sprouting and stuff. So I didn't go see Han Solo, but I did go to see Deadpool 2, but some of the chairs were moving funny in that theater, so I had to sit in another row. That's my preference. More intimacy, more scenes here. I mean, Oscar Isaacs doesn't really say or do anything much. He doesn't react much. So here's Ventress and Natalie Portman. They're talking again. She really wants to go in there, okay? Maybe there's some sort of... whatever's happening to him is connected to that area. She's got to go in there. Yeah. And of course, there's a lot of posturing here. Oh, well, are you sure you can do this? You know how this movie's got... she's got to go in there. Natalie's the star. She's got to go into that forest with her backpack and her guns and take the other girls with her. But Ventress has to play sort of... Ventress here isn't like Asajj Ventress. She's not an assassin. She's not a killer. But she is sort of like going up against her in some way. Like if Asajj Ventress in Star Wars was based on a real life Ventress, it's somebody like who kind of gets on your nerves, but not in that obvious action adventure way. She's a doctor, and she's going to keep Natalia hostage no matter what. But if she's going to hold her hostage in that facility, at least let her do something, right? So the relationship is a little uneasy here, but I think it's a relationship that builds all right over time. I mean, all these actresses have this very skinny anorexic look. I keep looking when I see Natalia in that T-shirt and jeans. I think she's like a twig in real life. I mean, you see these actors in real life. If you go to like, I've never been to a autograph signing when they go to the world premiere of movies, but they don't look like they eat much. I'm not saying she should put on a lot of weight, but some actors, most actors have insecurity. They live in their own bubbles. They want to be perfect all the time. They take a lot of young cream and stuff. Here we go. Here's the famous shot. I showed a little bit of this on my Instagram. Just a couple of seconds of all the girls in their backpacks, ready to go bust some ghosts. there's no Thor, so Thor is not there to be the secretary. Thank God for that. I think Oscar Isaacs is doing a good job of that. They're into the forests, into the color walls. Yeah, I mean it's the color of life. There's a lot of white. White is like if you like I said, if you get a bunch of crayons and if you drew a circle, right, and you drew some colors of the rainbow around a white circle on a white piece of paper, congratulations, you have simplified the movie into that little drawing right there. Because that's what Annihilation is. So you got oh, I think it's Gina Rodriguez. Gina Rodriguez. I keep saying Michelle Rodriguez because she's from Avatar, of course, and Fast and the Furious. I'm not a huge Fast and the Furious fan, but I hate when people watch those movies and they think they can drive like that. Okay, now they're in the shimmer. So I don't think this is Natalie. It could be her body double. There's a guy called Mr. Skins, MrSkins.com, I think. And when you want to know if actresses have appeared nude in movies, you kind of look him up and he'll show you which actresses have appeared nude. Because I'm willing to bet she wore a tight skin, like flesh tone, like top, just to hide that. So yeah, she's having the affair with the other professor, and I guess he has to be black to prove a point of, cross genders, cross races, cross breeding. It's like if this was about Chihuahuas, and you have a male Chihuahua and a female Chihuahua, and the female Chihuahua has an affair with a Great Dane. I wonder what kind of... That would be funny. Can you imagine a Great Dane humping a Chihuahua? What kind of dog would come out of that? I think you'd kill the Chihuahua. I think if a Great Dane mounted a Chihuahua, the Chihuahua would be dead. I'll look it up on YouTube later. Maybe there's some sort of crossbreed between a Chihuahua and a Great Dane. That would be brutal. Sick. Anyway, that's not the point of this. So they don't remember how they got there. They walked into the shimmer, but they don't remember what happened before that. I mean, anything. So the four girls are out there in the wilderness, camping out, lost and confused. You got Ventress over there. 5 girls total. 5 women total. I will say, though, even though she didn't look good in the Queen and Naboo makeup today, Natalia still looks sexy and elegant. But would you rather Natalie Portman or Daisy Ridley? I don't have a problem with Rey, except that she is a Mary Sue in that she didn't earn those powers. The compass is funny, the watches are funny, everything is funny. It's a beautiful forest of green. Green jackets, green raincoats, green trees, green bushes. I think this director is focusing heavily on color. Yellows and greens. White being in the center. Always focusing on rainbows versus the color white. But we're focused on green. Even Gina Rodriguez is wearing green. Everybody's wearing green right now. Walking into the light, walk towards the light. Alicia Vikander. I always want to say Alicia Vikander, like Highlander. That's her name, Alicia Vikander. Is the name of the Tomb Raider, Lara Croft. And Rocket League. You see what happens when I just let my mind go blank? I can recall things. I hate when I can never remember things that are like, how can you not know what Rocket League is? But sometimes I'm 40 years old now. I've been 40 for the last 2 weeks. And it's like things I just don't care about the things I used to care about when I was a kid. So this is where they're going to meet the monster in the lake. Their first monster. I think it's that alligator hybrid. Now this is where Natalie makes a discovery about the flowers. Like you have flowers of different species and subspecies all connected to the same plant. It's like if you were to run into an orange tree, but there are apples and oranges growing on the same damn tree. They should have actually put that in this movie. Oranges and apples in the same tree, but there's no orange and apple tree in there. I'm having vivid memories of when I was a volunteer. I worked in a Willows. I won't tell you which city, but it was a Willows preserve, and I got my skin started burning up badly when I was in the sun. But it was like I had to be so I had to hide in the shade so that the sunlight wouldn't burn my skin. It was like I had to be a vampire for about a week and a half. I thought I was gonna die. I wanted to die. I wanted to like end life that day when I got sick. I told the director of the Willows that there was something in there that got me really sick. There must have been poison oak, poison sumac, some sort of poison. But I got sick and I got my skin burned. I had to use cortisone for days. Okay, so one of the girls is now captured. A lot of throwing acting here. Some stunt doubles in the water. Other than that, it's girls being thrown around. They're jumping in the water. Yeah. See, if the Ghostbusters movie was a lot like this, we wouldn't be having the rants and whinings and complainings that we do. But I think it's like, look, we can rant and complain, but the only way you can vote is with your wallet. Your wallet will decide whether or not you're going to go see a bad reinterpretation of a movie or not. I didn't hear very good things about the Tomb Raider movie. I did not see it in theaters. I heard it was not that great. That alligator's coming out of the water. Oh, Jesus. Like, let me see how long. I think it's an hour and 49 minutes. 114. So it's an hour and 54. Probably less than that if you count the credits. But I'm going to stop somewhere during the credits. There comes that gator. There goes Gina Rodriguez. Ha ha ha! Shoot him, shoot him. God damn. I keep thinking, you know what I keep thinking of? Resident Evil, The Umbrella Chronicles. There's that monster. Do you remember that monster? If you ever played The Umbrella Chronicles for the Wii, there was this monster that you had to shoot 1,000 times with a fucking gun to shoot it and kill it, okay? Now, I understand the bigger a creature is, the harder it is to shoot it. But why would it take like half an hour to kill something? It's just stupid. That's not survival horror. That's survival bullshit. So they killed the gator. They're looking inside. I wouldn't touch anything in there. Because, of course, they're badass. They don't need to use gloves. I'm getting that vibe from John Carpenter's The Thing where Wilford Brimley is touching them. Of course, that was even disgusting. Here we see a giant gator, like Jaws, okay? So Natalie Portman's touching the inside, getting like DNA samples from the tongue and teeth. But I remember when Wilford Brimley opened up the bag and saw this nasty, ugly creature just pulling it apart. It was just disgusting. So now we're back in the scene. Everybody's wearing white, the symbol of all life, the symbol of everything. The glass of water, that's another iconic symbol. So the glass of water, the white, the colors, the byum, 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 like that sound. She's got that weird figure 8 tattoo. That's always about infinity, the Infinity Wars. Yeah. So of course, all this is going on after the events of the movie, where Natalie's dancing with that machine, robot machine, whatever that is, little fish. So yeah, a lot of green, a lot of life, but they run into different colors soon. She's supposed to be military. She doesn't look it, but you know, that's what an actor does. An actor can play any role. But I favor the stunt doubles. Stunt doubles don't get enough, but they're not supposed to. But I think that in a day and age where we have the internet, we have smartphones, we have tablets, and we can look at every single aspect of life. I think stunt doubles should get a little bit more, and sometimes they do. And the actors like Ben Affleck and Tom Holland, they give props. Even Margot Robbie gives props. Um, and I think all stunt doubles should put their reels up, because you never know when something really bad happens on the set and you never come back from that. How do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be forgotten? Yeah, so they're all the women are having this nice heart-to-heart talk, sisterhood of the traveling pants and such. It's a beautiful bayou. I'm now thinking of the movie Man Thing. If I have the live action version of Man Thing. Let me see. I'll show you for a second. That's funny. Well, I'll show you a little bit while Natalie Portman's rowing her boat. Yeah, this is it. That's the live action Man Thing. Terrible movie. Just awful, awful. This one's alright. I give this movie about. I'll give it. I'll give it a B minus. I'll say it's an 80%. I wish there was more to really understand, but Man Thing, I'll give a 2 out of 10. I might do commentary if you all want to see that. Um, as far as Star Wars, I mean, there's like Oliver Harper and all these people have done like 20,000 commentaries about Star Wars movies. But I could do a Clone Wars episodes based on the most popular episodes and just like give 20-minute commentaries because they're not that long anyway. People honking their horns outside. Okay, the weather here, it's about almost 80, just about over 80 degrees. They're at Fort Amaya now. They're going to the site where you find a gaping hole and the creature was there in. I think that's where they first meet the creature. The creature was hiding in that hole. And they're going to find that disgusting footage where they open up the guy's stomach and shit. I swear, this feels like a spiritual successor to The Thing. Watch John Carpenter's The Thing and then watch this movie and see if you don't spot the similarities. But on that movie, there's no educational value. It's like, don't trust anybody because they can turn into creatures and stuff. So they're looking at a rainbow of algae. I guess it's rainbow algae. I don't know what that stuff is on the wall. But they stare at it, and now they're going inside the building. Yeah, this is one of the few, I think this is one of the few women together movies I'll watch. You got movies like The First Wives Club and The Widow Society and all this crap. You got people with their loud music on. It is tough living in the ghetto, I'm going to tell you that. Let me just check what's going on near my driveway. Assholes park out there. Same old people, same old trucks. You ever have people drive those big trucks and they shove their dick up your ass when you're driving on the freeway? I used to remember those times. I hate those kinds of people. So they're investigating everything. They're looking around. Because all they have is their assault rifles. They don't have much else. I didn't understand this thing. I think Natalie Portman is looking at names of people who were there, or the names of the people who in his group. I don't remember. I didn't understand this scene at all. I didn't understand it. Got lost in thought. I was watching this episode of Supergirl where they wanted to get rid of all the guns. Can't happen. That show's just awful. So since Natalie's a scientist, she's trying to explain something about logic about the people. I don't know what the hell. There's Jennifer Jason Leigh. She's found something. What is she finding? See, I don't remember much about this one. Bag of something. Bag of wind? Some sort of clue. Oh, she's got an analyzer, I think, of some kind. Oh no, it's an SD card. I'm sorry. This is where they watch the footage. Oh my God, this is horrible. Oh my God. Even in John Carpenter's The Thing, they had to look at old footage of how the UFO got onto the Earth. Here, it's the same thing. You got military men, and they get fucked over. There's Oscar Isaacs. Okay, I gotta cut this guy open. We're gonna eat his insides. We're gonna just eat the kidney because we haven't eaten in days. Oh my God! I can see some of you looking away. Would you like me to describe the scene in graphic detail since you're not looking at this scene? This is horrible. What aren't they doing? Oh my God. Yeah, he's going to play doctor there. Oh my God, this is intense shit. Yeah, it's all right. We're just going to pull out stuff. Oh, fuck. Ugh. I dare you to have spaghetti while watching this. That's nasty. Yeah, he's all right. It's just, oh, God. Fuck. What is that, like a fire hose, or what is that? It's probably a fire hose. What is it they said in The Thing? It was like, when the dogs turn into these creatures, it's like KY jelly. It's like strawberry jam. People can't handle that stuff. It's ridiculous. Oh yeah, Gina Rodriguez, she's showing off her paranoia here. Man, everybody's flipped out. It's ridiculous. But something has happened. It's sort of like The Thing. In fact, that one scene where the cords go around the guy's stomach is just like in The Thing before there's a copycat. It's the metamorphosis, though. They're trying to say it's beautiful poetry, okay? But it's like, I don't know, it's weird. So she's in another room. Oh, yes, here we go. They go to the hole. They go into the giant pool. They go to the deep end of the pool. I bet that's their stunt double sliding down the ramps. There's no way the actresses would really jump into the pool and slide down those ramps. Hey, that's what stunt doubles are for, okay? Natalie Portman says, I don't want to slide down that thing. Get the girl to do it. All right. I would have done it. Maybe. It all depends because it is slippery water, though. It is slippery. There's somebody. Oh, there's the mutilated guy. So he's turned into this colored moss on the wall. That's nasty. Oh, shit. It's the knife. This is the hard stuff. But I say to, like, especially for, and this is what I'm going to say sounds sexist, but for women to watch John Carpenter's The Thing, you really have to have almost no constitution. Most women cannot handle The Thing. This movie, yes, maybe so on given time. But The Thing was heavy in graphic blood and shit. You have to really stomach that. And I don't think most women can. I think some women can, including the one woman that worked on The Thing, but most women could not handle that movie. It's just too graphic, too gross, too dark, too ugly. It's not Freddy Krueger, okay? Women could watch Freddy Krueger. They could watch Nightmare on Elm Street all day long. But to watch The Thing, as dark and mean as it is, the stuff here in Annihilation is light on that kind of stuff. With all the serpent things in the guy's stomach and the corpses and everything. Orange juice. Here's probably the one scene where he does a lot of good acting here. This is their relationship falling apart. We always go back to these scenes with Natalie and Oscar because it's really about these two here, okay? Yeah, I mean, you got these ones here who are important, but it's really about, these two being the centerpiece. It's kind of her bouncing back and forth between being a married couple and them. It's shifting around. But with most women's stories, it's hard to avoid romance and love because women are nurturing creatures by nature. It's just how it is. So there'll always be a love interest or some sort of love conflict or some other thing. Oh yeah, there's a dark tension there. Awkward silence there. And the ending to this is slightly poetic. So here we have cells dividing. We saw earlier that Natalie had a bruise when she was rowing the boat, and it's in her arm. So she's changing. It was unavoidable because if you're going to have physical contact with the world around you in the shimmer, there's no way in 20 hells you're not going to change. But is that a good thing or a bad thing? We don't know. Here they have the dark color blue. Secrets, dark blue as a metaphor. I haven't seen Ex Machina yet. So we have just the color blue and the sun and the moon out. They're trying to use colors as a theme here. Oh, this is the bear scene. Here we go. Oh, this is horrible. This is the bear scene. This is when the team starts to shrink down a bit. Because what would a movie be without scary monsters in it? There's Ventress talking. So she's sort of, I think she counts as the only real villain, other than that weird piece of French art that Natalie goes up against at the end of the movie. There really is no villain. It's just it's 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 life in conflict with itself. But I guess my question for this movie, and I don't think the movie really answers it, is the alien life that touches the Earth necessarily intelligent? I mean, does it change the DNA around it, but understand what it's doing, why it's doing? I mean, one could assume that that giant eye, the giant eye sculpture at the end, is intelligent because it looks and it seems intelligent, but we don't know. I mean, some animals can fly, some animals can soar, some can camouflage themselves like chameleons. Others uh, can climb ropes or um, hide in caves or drink from flowers. But you know, a cat has night vision. Doesn't necessarily make the cat smarter than us. We don't have night vision, but or dogs have a higher sense of smell. So it's like I never got the impression or the confirmation that the alien life is smarter or better than the people. I mean, it's better that it can change its DNA. It can rewrite the rules of the genetic code, but not necessarily that it's has more intelligence than the person. Maybe that's what Ventress was trying to figure out too. I'm not even sure what Ventress really wants. I think she just wants, I mean, like most scientists, she wants the answers to everything. So here comes the bear. The bear is coming out of hiding, I think. It's amazing because people feed the bears in Canada. I've seen people like hold out food and stuff or, call the bear like it's a pet. It's like, it's a bear. Most times it gonna kill you. Don't you understand that? So everybody's got their guns trained on whatever is making that noise. Oh Jesus! I think it pulled. Yeah, it pulled the nerdy girl out. The other white girl, it captured her. This is where you start. I mean, this is what I like. I like that everybody dies one by one, just like the Thing. Except in the Thing, you had two survivors. You had a lot more men in that one, and you had two survivors. And I guess in this movie, you have two survivors, but you have a married couple, not Keith David and Kurt Russell. Yeah, that bear got her. That's it. Look at that weird structure right there. Weird colored terraforming of algae, rainbow algae. So at some point, she explains that Ventress has cancer, and so she can only go on a few. You know how they always say that they're dying of a terminal illness, but they die like right away at the end of the movie or some stuff like that. Well, she dies, of course, but um, not in a predictable fashion. So here they're having a pissing match. It's like that Family Guy joke. Remember when Peter Griffin, he wakes up in a world where Quahog is empty, but except for his friends, except for him, Joe, Quagmire, and Cleveland, and they try to figure out what the hell happened. And it's like, oh, and Brian's there, and Stewie said, well, you lasted longer than the women, and so you see a quick shot of Meg and Lois and I think Joe's wife, and they're trying to kill each other. And within 3 minutes, they're trying to fight each other. So here in Annihilation, you see these women fight each other. And Gina Rodriguez, look, she's turned into a crazy bitch. Almost as crazy as Michelle Rodriguez, her half-sister. I kind of felt it was over the top, but, you get these women who don't know each other very well alone, and they're going to piss on each other. They're going to fight each other. Women are very catty. I know we see these Me Too movements, and all women all stick together. Gloria Allred's our hero, blah, 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 blah. That's all bubble TV media garbage. Most women pretend to like each other in the workplace. They pretend to like each other. They pretend to care about each other. But they want to kill each other because they can't handle each other. If you don't believe me, watch a female soccer game and tell me how many personal fouls. Count the personal fouls. Take a drink, take a shot of whiskey every time somebody does a personal foul in a women's soccer game. You'll be so drunk, you won't even know what day it is. You won't even know what time. You don't even know your own name. There's so many personal fouls. And I don't want to hear how men do that too. That's not the point. We're not saying whether or not men do that, but we know women do it even more so. They get really pissed off. Women can get really, really pissed off. So yeah, she talks about the cancer. She's sitting there. We're looking at three things. We're looking at Natalie Portman talking to the guys in the white suits. We're looking at she and her husband, and we're looking at the Shimmer, the girls, the team chicks in the Shimmer. So it's three different things we're looking at. And they all have three different meanings. I guess it's like, I don't know, it's sort of like bookends. If you think of those, if you think of the marriage, if you think of Natalia and Oscar as one bookend, and Natalia in the room in white with the guys in white as one bookend, then what she and the girls are going through in the Shimmer is like the series of books here. So they're going through another part. It's just the three. I think they found the other girl. So it's just the four girls now. Okay. And yeah, it's terrible. No, actually, no, wait, they don't find her. They find her shoe. And Natalia goes on later on to find her body. Yeah. She's gonna look for her friend, I guess. Well, let me go with you. Nope, I'm gonna go alone. Yeah, that's what you get, you crazy bitch. You can't turn on Natalia. What's wrong? Don't you pout. Gina Rodriguez. She's probably cool in real life, but I don't know. I wouldn't talk to her in real life, to be honest. She'd go on and on about herself, like most Latinas. I've dated a few Latinas. She's actually a sexy supermodel compared to most of them. Most Latinas can't keep their goddamn weight down. If you don't believe me, go to East LA and prove me wrong. I dare you to prove me wrong. Because you know they're all fat. They don't care about their being fat. They say, don't call me fat. Oh, I'll say, oh, are you buying a Big Mac? See ya. Okay, she's looking at deer. They look like strange Pokemon from Pokemon Y or Pokemon X. So she's hunting these Pokemon, I guess. White deer with giant antlers, four antlers on each one. Very strange. Almost like Avatar. I just caught the news that George Lucas wanted to do something like Avatar, where you have this Awa, and you have the Wills, and they control everything in the Force. And I don't hate that idea. You know, this is what I'm going to say this briefly about Star Wars, okay? When he did the original trilogy about stormtroopers and the Imperial officers and Darth Vader versus the rebels, it was a very kindergarten approach to sci-fi. Because as he got older and as he looked back at what he wanted to do, he wanted CGI, but he wanted to tell better stories that were more mature. That's why you had Natalie Portman as a queen, as a diplomat doing diplomatic things. Instead of an empire and a rebellion, you had the Trade Federation, you had the Commerce Guild, you had the Corporate Alliance, you had the Intergalactic Banking Clan, you had the Bounty Hunters, and you had the Sith, and you had the Jedi, okay? A lot of different groups, a lot of different factions. Oh, she just found her friend, and her friend looks like she'd been mauled to death. Yeah, no, I wouldn't bother. Mushrooms will be growing on her wrist within days. Don't eat the mushrooms. You know that rule. So yeah, I mean, storytellers will eventually do movies that the fans will not like. But the fans are meant to be divided in Star Wars anyway. It doesn't matter because you know what? There are some people there are some people, myself included, who don't think that Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie ever. Okay. There are divided fans when George Lucas made the sequels and then the Ewoks cartoons and then the special editions and then the prequels and then the cartoons. Okay. You have a very divided fan base. But my favorite Star Wars is, of course, the Clone Wars movie, but not only the Clone Wars movie, but all of the Clone Wars series from 1 to 6. And I'll even throw in the Dark Disciple book along with the unfinished cartoons, even the Darth Revan stuff. So they're going to another area. Abandoned chairs and tables, abandoned playgrounds. The DNA, I guess, is affecting everything. The flowers. We have flower people where you have mannequins. They look like mannequins, but they're all made up of flowers and trees and shit. And she's got this idea. I mean, you see the people right there, right? Look at the people. But they're not people, they're plants. They're plants that are shaped like people. And it's all natural. So what's happening? She knows what's happening. She doesn't know why it's happening or why it needs to happen. Is this happening by accident? Is this an accident that this thing came to Earth? That question is never answered. I guess only the writer and the director know. I haven't looked at any interviews. Maybe it's accidental, maybe it's on purpose. For George Lucas's final version of Star Wars, it would seem that the Wills, the Guardians of the Force, and the midichlorians, they're intelligently doing the things that they do because they want to control the galaxy around them and other galaxies. But here, it's like what is happening, but we don't know by who or by what. Well, we know by what, but we don't know what it really is. I got to be cooking. I'm going to cook dinner for the next week. I have a small stove that I can cook some meals if I want to take food on the go. Yeah, so they're talking to the one girl's talking to mannequins made out of flowers right now. But they're trying to figure out what human DNA is going to mean once it's meshed to the other DNA. Yeah, Natalia's frustrated as fuck. And I do like that. I like when you have the female characters, but they're not trying to be Mary Sue's. They're not trying to be fake. They're not trying to be pinup girls. They are going through the dirt, through the scars, through the cuts and bruises, through the brush. And, you know, maybe they'll fix themselves up later on, but right now they're just frustrated as fuck. And I wasn't sure there was going to be like a lesbian relationship or some kind of... There's no romance, but the women they do get on each other's nerves, which is what happens when when they stick together, quote unquote. Okay. I don't care what Ellen DeGeneres tells you. Okay, women will kill each other at some point, or even if she does tell you that, she doesn't really hold us as Americans as accountable. We are capable of killing each other around. That's how we are. I'm thinking of Wastelands 2. Wastelands 2 Director's Cut is coming out for the Nintendo Switch. I do want to get that one. Now, it looks cheap, but it plays like Fallout. And that's as close as... That and Fallout Shelter are the only Fallout games you're going to get on the Nintendo Switch, so... Better damn well get used to that. And it's not a cheap game, so... But I can't wait to get it. Gina Rodriguez is paranoid. I love that look in her eyes. Forget Natalie for a moment. Look at that crazy bitch. I don't want any woman to look at me like that, ever. That's just no. No. Oh my God. I think Gina Rodriguez kind of steals the show. I don't know if Gina's gonna do movies more. Maybe she will. She'll play crazy bitches, crazy drug addicts. Have her star Crazy Cholitas. We'll have uh, Gina Rodriguez and her crazy sister Michelle Rodriguez in Crazy Cholitas, the sequel or the movie. We have Cheech Marin as the dad. It's like, hey, what's wrong with you? What are you doing? What are you doing? Here's the sex scene again. And I think this is the scene, this is the part where the two of them talk. You know, he's telling her, look, I love my wife, but I'm going to fuck you. And it's like, look, we got fireworks going on outside. Okay, here's the thing. If you feel you need to shoot illegal fireworks, one, go fuck yourself, and two, play a video game. Play Monopoly. Do something else. Anybody who spends their money on illegal fireworks and you don't put food on the table for your kids, you're a fuckhead. Anyway, back to Natalie Portman and her lover. So she's had an affair with a black man, which is not a bad thing. There is symbolism here. But she's cheating on her husband, okay? And I think it's a denial. See, when we think of crossbreeding or crossing of DNA, we think of interracial dating or interspecies dating between dogs and cats. Here it's obvious, right? And she's denying this guy who represents an alternative. But he's tempting to her, right? But now she's rejecting him. She's saying, fuck you, or go fuck yourself, or let your wife fuck you. Good luck with that. And she wants to stick with her husband, who's of the same race, and, you know, but at the same time, there is something else going on, you know? She is merging with something else, and he's merged with something else. So there is no pure race. Even my history teacher said this once. There is no pure race of people. Oh, here comes Gina. What is she? She's crazy. This scene is just fantastic. So her husband kind of disses her, and Oscar Isaacs walks off. She doesn't know what to do. She's had an affair on him. Their happy marriage is fucked. Oh, here we go. So Jennifer Jason Leigh, Natalia, and the other girl are tied up. We got a fake light here. The sun, the moon, the flashlight are symbols. I forgot what that locket was supposed to be about. Yeah, Gina Rodriguez has gone off the deep end. I think it was about the fifth girl. When is it supposed to have cut? She's supposed to cut herself for fun. She's fucked up, right? She's more interesting than Jane the Virgin, I think. Some people are still upset that show got canceled. We have two lights. A lot of darkness. This is about death, you know? This is where the bear comes back. But the bear now has the woman's voice. So now the bear can sound like the woman. But the bear cannot... See, the bear can cry like a woman. Like if the bear had killed me, right? Let's say the bear comes after me and kills me. So the bear can sound like me and go, right? But it doesn't mean that the bear can talk. It doesn't go, you know, it'll go, oh, hello, how are you? How's it going? How are you doing, right? It does that, right? That's the whole point of it. It's like the bear has some of her DNA, and it's this weird creature, but it just sounds like the girl. So that's what makes it scary. Gina's going off the deep end here. Natalia is doing her best to not talk, or to talk and talk, you know, with the gag on. But even her eyes have to speak where her mouth cannot. She would do lousy in a guess whose smile this is, because everybody knows Natalia's smile. What the fuck was that? Somebody's fireworks. Let me go check outside. I hope I don't miss the bear scene. Stupid ass kids are at it again. These like 14-year-old kids have like illegal fireworks going off. This is what happens when white people leave the ghetto, okay? White people don't like us very much. So East LA, Mayberry East LA turns into ghetto East LA, okay? So the Mayberry aspect is gone. And we take over, and look what we do to it. It turns into shit. The hot dog place, the giant wiener building, you white people remember that wiener-shaped building? It's derelict right now. It's repainted and derelict. It used to be a salon. Now it's not there anymore. It's still there, but it's just not there in spirit. It's not a hot dog stand anymore. They should have used a real bear for this scene, like a real mask. But then you wouldn't get some of the facial expressions. But they should have used a real bear head. You know, and use a CGI for the rest of it. I like that. I like the subtle head turnings and shit. It's like the animal from Attack of the Clones. Like the reek monster. Yeah, don't move. Yeah, so when you live in a ghetto, you live in a poor education shit. And you might see Gina Rodriguez in the ghetto, right? But most women look fat, man. Just horrible. Stupid ass kids and their stupid ass fireworks. Like, I think there's just more to life than fireworks, okay? I'm not saying these kids should be studying with books. I mean, old people say that because we're just more objective that way. But they should do something that's not this, you know, launching fireworks. That bear is mean as hell. Okay, there's Gina. Gina's gonna do the right thing, right? I love this scene. This is great. Nobody can sit still for this. Oh shit, the bear got her. Oh, that's it. Oh shit. All right, everybody do something, right? Oh fuck. Ah. Oh my god. Did everybody eat a hamburger while watching that? Oh shit. Yeah, that's scary, man. There's no way around that. Shoot it already. Oh fuck. Resident Evil 7 time, right? I think Resident Evil 7 didn't have that scale and scope of the other ones. I think that 5 was interesting because it was taking place in a foreign country, but there was a different kind of disease. And in Resident Evil 4, you had sick people, but they weren't necessarily zombies. But there was some weird shit going on with that. But every game is going to be virtually the same. Whether you have Resident Evil 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, Revelations, Codename Veronica, Remastered Part 2, Remastered 3. It doesn't matter. Oh, Jennifer Jason Leigh is really pissed off here. There's nothing more they can do. I mean, all they can do is figure out how to. They got to figure out what happened to Oscar Isaacs during that time. They got to figure out what happened to the other men. But that's all they can do. Now, in real life, I think people would just bring. If this happened in real life, you would have scientists go in there, get samples, take them out, go in there, take samples, bring them out, go in there, take samples, bring them out. They would do this in real life, right? Not a very exciting movie plot, but that's what would really happen, okay? Maybe we'd find out about it, maybe not, okay? Something like that. If a meteor or spaceship falls to the sky, uh, you know, somebody asks questions. Was like, well, what was that? What was that? Oh, it's just a meteor, you know? And it's the top brass saying that. It's like, well, are you sure it wasn't a UFO? If it was, we would have told you. No, you wouldn't. So, I mean, this is more of a cinematic point of bringing four girls in there, okay? Well, five of them, and having them go into there to do some cool stuff. But in real life, they would just take the samples and then leave the shimmer, if they could. But I guess the plot is that they're going in there for the first time. Well, actually, they're the second people going in, but they have to figure out how to the first people. But I guess one plot hole question I have is, yes, you would have military in there, right? But why don't you just have scientists as well? Or even if you did, like, but there are no, I guess in the formal sense, there were no other scientists. It's just guys, just grunts going in there. And grunts are good for security, but they're not going to do shit as far as understanding what the fuck is going on. They can record stuff, but they can't, you know, and they can bring samples. Or maybe that's all they were supposed to do is record the data, bring samples back. And the only thing that came back out of the shimmer was Oscar Isaacs, and so that creates this movie plot. But I don't know. So many questions. So this girl is talking about life and the way life and green life are interacting. She's the one that cuts herself, not Gina Rodriguez. It would make more sense if Gina Rodriguez cut herself. I don't understand what it is about women and cutting themselves. I don't. I don't get it. I've known a couple of girls that would do that. This is sort of like the last guy in The Thing. In The Thing, uh, I forgot the other black guy's name. There's Keith David and there's the other guy, right? And he goes into the darkness, but he doesn't come back out. And McCready's trying to talk to him, but he's gone. I think his name was Knowles. Knowles? And Knowles is gone, okay? And the only person left is the Wilford Brimley, the Thing, the final alien. So just like that last part of The Thing, the girl's gone. And so Natalie or McCready now has to figure out what to do. She disappeared, I guess, into the green life. Sort of cinematic. That's why in so many ways this reminds me of The Thing. It's like, but unlike The Thing, we don't see what happens to those two men when the fire is going on. There's a stupid TV ending to it, but it doesn't work. And maybe we're not meant to know whether or not Keith David and Kurt Russell are aliens or not. But I like the ending. I like that they have a beer and they just sit there and watch the fire. They'll figure it all out later. The Lighthouse. This is the final point of the movie. The Lighthouse. The last reel or so. So we've gone back from the radiation, back to from Area X, back to their home, and then back to the shimmer. Yeah, she's really feeling it. I mean, Ventress is missing and sick. The other girl's gone. The other girl got killed by a bear, and Gina Rodriguez was killed by the bear as well. This is the part where she's really alone. I mean, there's nobody. There's nobody else. Here we got this rainbow tinge to everything. I mean, this is a giant forest she's in right now. Heading toward the light. This scene I didn't like as much, but here we got greens and blues and yellows, orange yellows. Look, it could be a commercial for Massengill, where the two women walk on the beach and they say, "Do you douche?" "Yes, of course I do." Anyway, she leaves her backpack there for I'm not sure what reason. I would have carried it with me, but that's what a backpack is for. Because the lighthouse is sort of the focal point of where the meteor crashed, or the alien crashed. And we got these crystalline trees, crystalline forests. It's beautiful. I mean, it's more of a metaphor, like I say, it's just a metaphor for all the things that are going on in life, changing life. I mean, in real life, let me try to think of it. When you look at black holes in outer space, there's a part of the black hole that opens. So if you have a black hole, right, and the thing goes around it, anything that gets near it can rewrite DNA, can rewrite the code. I don't know if I actually have that book. I may not have it. I may or may not have that book. But anyway, yeah, so when you get to a black hole in space, if you go around the ring, it can rewrite code. So instead of a black cat, you could have a green cat. Or you could have a dog with squares. Or a giraffe that has fur, like heavy fur. Or a polar bear that can survive heat or survive asbestos. You know, it could rewrite anything. That's the whole theme of this. And I like these beautiful shots here. Almost a white color, but not exactly. Here we have more of the light, more of the sun. Purple tinge. I think that's CGI there. Purple tinge. The lens flares and shit. And here we have a charred corpse, but I think you kind of figure out who that is. And you just ask more questions, like, what is it? Was that really Oscar Isaacs we saw in the beginning? Which also begs the question, is the life that invades Earth intelligent? I think, like I said, I think that the creature at the end, not the one that Natalie dances with, but the other one, the one she sees, is intelligent. But for what purpose? They show footage of all the corpses and all the crystal forests, and they just show everything that's been happening. And so they get to this part where there's a hole in the ground. But what is this hole about? There's Oscar Isaacs cutting out. There's the creature. But is it intelligent? I don't know. It's like a black hole. There's a mimic mannequin of some sort, a shape-shifting doll. Oscar Isaacs is going in there. Does he come back out? It's always scary to go in a hole. You can find rats or possums or killer bees, giant bees in there. Giant earthworms, just alligators. It's always that fear of going in there. So here's a slightly creepy video he's making to Natalie, talking about whatever the fuck is on his mind. And he pulls out a grenade. I don't think it's a regular grenade. I think it's supposed to be a phosphorus grenade. but he bathes himself in this grenade, and it's just it's beautiful but disgusting at the same time. I don't know, like I think what turned me off when I first saw the movie was that it had too many metaphors. Does it need to be realistic, or does it just need to work? And I think it just needs to work. I don't mind science fiction. I have science fiction movies. But I think what kills a movie is cliches. And I had a hard time understanding if what is happening here is a metaphor, but is it a cliche? And I think a movie that avoids cliches and tries to find its own footing and logic works for me. So I think it's trying to do just that. Yeah, here we go. He's going to pull the pin, and he's going to light up. I'll tell you, I mean, some people in Star Wars, they may not like her in the prequels, but I think she carried probably most of the weight of that love story than Hayden Christensen did. Especially in Revenge of the Sith, she carried a lot of weight. I remember she said one time she wouldn't let her kids see that movie. I wonder if she let them now, because they're getting older anyway. So yeah, now we see two of them. This is horrifying. So I think most of us accept that that was Oscar Isaac's, her real husband, getting burned to death. And that's what happened. We never really know the husband, because if we can safely assume that it was a fake Oscar Isaacs that came back, then what is her life after that, right? And that's what the movie's about, trying to say, what is life after that? Here we go, a good shot here. Kind of reminds me of Alien, when Sigourney Weaver goes into that giant, place, and it's like a lot of miniatures and parts set. But it's not that big as it appears. Or it's not even as big as it appears. She's going down this dark tunnel where we see the giant eye. This is very dark. So we have Jennifer Jason, we have Ventress in there, and she's come to some sort of epiphany and explodes. That felt like a cliche. Kind of felt like Ghostbusters a little bit, or Close Encounters of the Third Kind, or some ET moment. It's about metamorphosis. It's about, changing of the guards, changing of life. I think we try to do this in our real lives. We take medicines, we take elixirs, we take Botox. We try to find ways to crossbreed with animals. I'm sure we're humans. We're capable of anything, aren't we? We'll figure out ways to do all kinds of shit. So that in 100 years you can marry your dog. Why would you want to do that? I don't know. But like I say, in the future, it's easy to consider Buck Rogers' technology over cultural change, because we want everything to be exactly the same, except it's in the future. But it's not how the future works. You have to learn to accept the things that you don't like, because somebody else is going to like that a lot more than you, way more. If you could think of the people in the 1930s who couldn't accept interracial dating, well, most of those people are dead, and this is the way it is now. Or you can do interracial dating, just don't talk about it. Well, I mean, that's a great topic for SJWs, but What this is it represents the future of life, whether there's a cultural change or not. Um, the human DNA is now fuckable. I mean, you can fuck with it and make all kinds of things happen. So yeah, this feels like a cliche of lighting going all over the place. She's throwing up light. This is the vomit scene. This is the great vomit of light scene. Circle of life, vomit of light, however you want to call it. She becomes light. It's all bullshit. It works only in the movies. Because nothing is faster than the speed of light. Except maybe the darkness. So at this point, the alien has touched Natalia. And Natalia is touched by the alien. This is where it does that. Dum, 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 dum. That's the most famous sound you'll ever hear in any movie. Dum, 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 dum. What is that thing? Is it like, if you have the black hole in outer space, this is the white hole, the light hole of light, which doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, right now, as we see it, light is faster than anything, beaten only by the black hole, because it can't escape the black hole. The black hole in outer space is the end of everything and the beginning of everything. Wormholes, it can change time and place and space. To me, I'm not a religious person, okay? I don't believe in the Christian or Catholic God. But if I had to believe in any kind of God, and here we're seeing some cells divide, remaking life right now. This is the part now where we get to see shape-shifting Natalia, a doppelganger made out of new cells. But if I had to believe in a God, it would be the black hole in outer space. Because the black hole is God, isn't it? It takes life as you know it and reshapes it and redefines it. I had that book somewhere where it's the black holes in outer space. It's made by DK Publishing. You know DK Publishing? They basically have visual dictionary guides for Star Wars and superheroes. And they have one for black holes. And they talk about oh, this is where she's going Rambo right now. There's the shape-shifting Natalia. This is faux pas Natalia, or farce Natalia. So she's backing out of the hole and going back out into the lighthouse, up into the lighthouse. But I see the black hole as God, because the black hole is more powerful than anything that surrounds it. Planets, planetoids, light, sun, stars, moons, us, the animals, the germs. We all succumb to the black hole. And that's the only thing that creature that she sees with the light with the white eye, that is the only comparison I can make to that. Now we have this sort of dance number here where she plays mimicry. The alien's mimicking it, she's mimicking the alien. We can only assume she's guiding this thing. This thing is there because of her. This thing exists for her. But what is it? Looks like one of those weird sculptures you see in downtown Los Angeles, in front of a building, where some French sculptor says, monsieur, I'm going to make this very complicated human with oil painting and shit like that. I'm going to use the residue of oil as a rainbow splash and make this beautiful human being in front of the building, in front of the skyscraper. That's what this thing looks like. It looks like one of those things. So you have the French sculpt right there and creeping up on Natalie. But it's supposed to be her. It's very strange. This is the one confusing element that Paramount Pictures did not like. Everybody else did not like, but the director insisted on keeping it there because there was a reason. There was something to what this creature's existence was. And She's getting mounted by this thing, kind of raped by this thing. But what is it? It's herself. It's something else. It's her fear. It's being trapped by the unknown, because you don't know what it is. We are always trapped by the unknown, getting like fucked in the ass, getting raped, getting mounted. Because the unknown, whether it's Bigfoot, whether it's the Loch Ness Monster, whether it's the two-headed shark, the Bermuda Triangle, the black holes in outer space, the wormholes that go through time, we're always getting fucked by the unknown. We don't know what the unknown symbolizes, but in some ways it mocks us. It mocks us by its existence. We always think it's going to be, when you see Battlestar Galactica, in real life, would they be weird insect creatures or weird octopus creatures? Or do they happen to look like Caucasians with nice hair and English speaking? It's convenient plot devices. The aliens have to look like people that we would date and screw and procreate with. But this thing looks like a thing, but it's going to look like her in a minute or two. But right now, it's just mimicking her. It's just this thing that we don't know or don't even care what it is, but it's there. Now, if it were me, I would just back up to the wall, and I would slide along the wall, because then in that instance, the alien creature would slide against the opposite wall, and I would just go to the door, open the door, and shut the door close behind me. But of course, she has to be a little bit dumb here. That's what I would do. I would have hugged the wall and slid along the wall so that the alien would have to go on the opposite wall and be far away from me. But then again, it does have some intelligence, because if it was running away, if it's mimicking her like a mirror, it would have ran away from her and not towards her. It would have ran to the opposite way. So it's like if you have a person here and you're mimicking what the other person does, you would go the opposite direction. So a little bit of intelligence. Here she gives her double the phosphorus grenade. A lot of green. This is the metamorphosis. A lot of questions, no answers. But that's why I'm fascinated by the black hole in outer space. Try to prove that's not God or a part of God, because that is God. It is ultimately everything and nothing. It's everything we see and nothing. It means nothing. So that was her escape. The creature burns and Natalie has run off. Because what more can she do? She's seen the creature, and the creature has taken her DNA and made this copycat. I guess you could have tried touching it, but maybe that wouldn't have been such a good idea. She's standing over the corpse. Well, the copycat is standing over the corpse. I guess it's funny because if she's a copycat, and that was really Oscar Isaac's body right there, right? So it's symbolism. It's more fire and symbolism. Brimstone and hellfire, or hellspawn. I don't know. Hellfire and brimstone, I think it's. So that's it. The lighthouse is going up in flames. That's it. The lighthouse is burning up. It's going up. It goes up quickly. Kind of like The Thing, but this is much more poetic, of course. And here, the copycat is walking back towards the point of origin. What does it all mean? Now, we see fire as destruction, but since this creature is capable of rewriting code, is the fire a destruction of the alien's presence, or is it an amplification of the alien's presence? I have to believe that whatever is happening in the Shimmer, exclusively in the Shimmer, is getting fucked right now. It's getting destroyed, and it's just burning up. So much is going on here. Uh, but kind of like the thing where the alien creature goes up in flames, right? The flames hold a meaning. But all this is the undoing of the mess. But if Oscar Isaacs is not the real guy, if it's not really her husband, and if it's not really her that's coming back, what could all this mean? So we're back to the bookend scene where we started. You got this fat guy. It's not Sammo Hung. Remember Sammo Hung? Martial law. He used to do all those martial arts kicks and shit. So the team disappeared. She can't tell what happened to them. She doesn't really know. But it's all burned up. Ventress is gone. Gina Rodriguez is gone. The other two girls are gone. And she's the only one that made it back. They want to know what the fuck happened. She can't tell them. She may permanently stay there in the facility. We hope they escape. But I think it's assumed that they would escape the facility. They would escape Area X, and they would go on to do something else. Yeah, it's just she's now a different person, right? It's all about that glass of water on the table and the holding of hands. It's the merging of things. There is no set of rules now. I'm a person, you're a cat, he's a dog, she's a bird, the other one's a fish. Now it just doesn't matter now. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. It's that glass of water that's the basis of all life. The infinity on her arm, it's rewriting things. It's rewriting code. It's rewriting everything that you know. And all she wants to do is see her husband one last time. He's just always staring off into darkness. I guess she still loves him, but she knows it's not the same thing. I guess if they turned to bloodthirsty, hungry, ugly leech creatures, then it would be the thing. And people would say, kill it, kill it. Here it's poetic and pretty and colorful and beautiful sculptures. It's like if women told the story of the thing instead of men, this is the story that would be told. Like you have to make it cute and beautiful. But I don't think this is bad. I can't love it as much as the thing. The thing feels more personal to me. But this one has a lot of good merits overall. I really don't know what to say about it concerning that, but it's not a movie I dislike. And I think as far as a chick action flick, it is one of the best ones I've seen, if not the best one. I don't know how I'd feel about Alicia Vikander and Tomb Raider. That one's trying to follow the Xbox 360 PS3 port or plot. So he doesn't think he's the same person, and she doesn't know who she is anymore. This seemed a little forced, but whatever. I mean, I guess they love each other, but what are they? What are they now? It's a metamorphosis. So it's all about change, changing of the guards, changing of skin color, and everything you know is wrong. I don't see too many Natalie Portman movies that are not Star Wars, but I heard Jackie was good. So I'll turn this over. We can show you the credits. So this is the main theme. It's all these colorful images. And that's it, basically what Annihilation was all about. It's all about the metamorphosis of people and things. I didn't see a commentary on YouTube, so I thought, since this movie is kind of still new, and I think it came out in June, early June, right? Or late May, early June, I don't remember. No, it came out in late May, didn't it? Because I think it came out before my birthday. So it's all about the different shades of life, the different species of life, and what it means and what it's about. I can take out this headphones here. You can hear a little bit of the music. But yeah, it wasn't so bad. And I think in the end, you get this sense of up is down and down is up. But as a women's movie, I think it's very good. But you're just not going to get a real love story. There is a love story, and it's the love of, I guess, spirituality and the spirit of everything that's alive. This alien creature can become anything, or this thing can become anything. So we don't know if the eye creature is dead or not, but we do know that a lot of the things that have changed and will spread out. If you want to take a Genesis biblical approach, you could dare say we saw Adam and Eve at the end of this. That Natalia is Eve and Oscar is Adam, and she's sort of the. But in a way, Oscar was more of Eve, because he went in there into the forbidden fruit of things and came back out a different person. So, I mean, I guess you could say that once the meteor hit the earth, it was tainting the earth. But, if God was real, he'd say, oh, don't go into that shimmer. Whatever you do, don't go into the shimmer, right? And what does Oscar Isaacs do with his men? They go into the fucking shimmer and they become different people. And only Oscar Isaacs comes back alive. And as a result, now she's changed. She's a different person. So this is one of those movies that you have to kind of watch more than once. You're not going to get the true meaning of this the first time. You're not going to understand it once. You have to watch it 4, 5, 6, 10 times to understand it. And that's how I feel. For me, the best science fiction movies are the ones that don't have to go on for too long, okay? Like, I like the Clone Wars of Star Wars more than the movies. And I like Interstellar. And I like, X-Men Days of Future Past. Something that really hits home. There are going to be those movies that have to stand the test of time in 100 years, okay? But I like the Clone Wars because it was George Lucas's final version of what Star Wars was meant to be. Because he had all these ideas in his head, and they never got to be in those 6 movies. So he put them in those cartoons. Interstellar, because there was a metamorphosis of Adam and Eve in that one. In that one, you had Anne Hathaway, and you had Matthew McConaughey. But that was more about exploration. It was more of like a prequel to Star Trek Enterprise or Star Trek in general. So, yeah, I had fun watching this movie, but it's one of those movies, it gets dark, and you have these different characters, but it's not really about the girls, right? It's more about these two here. And so if you focus on that more, and you look at Natalie Portman versus the guys in the suit. Now, the guys in the suits are us. The guys in the radiation suits represent us, watching Natalia, asking her questions, wanting to know the answers to those questions, and never really getting them for shit. So Um, yeah, I just some things I didn't like, some things I did like, and I think that we need to look at those movies again, 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 again to understand it. Um, but some movies I like that are fun: Batman Ninja and Sukiyaki Western Django. I can I'm willing to do audio commentary for movies that are not too much covered on YouTube. But of course, I can't show you the movie themselves. I can show you the credits and play a little bit of audio, but that's about it. So I'm going to sign out at this time. We got a whole bunch of credits by a bunch of people. Look at the credits. Look at the people. I'm sure you know somebody personally in there that worked on this movie. But anyway, this is Maestro Drake signing out. Uh, I'm going to watch more some of the E3 Nintendo stuff. Be kind, be cruel, but be yourselves.